The Prince and the Pauper, chapter 4. The prince's troubles begin. The prince's troubles begin. Now we know the prince is outside the palace as a beggar boy, and Tommy is inside the palace as a prince. They exchange their situations. Not only their clothes, but also their social positions, social status, social recognition. Social recognition in this exchange of clothes. Their social identities are also exchanged. Now, the prince's troubles begins. Now, the prince is going to experience beggar's life. That is the idea. Beggar's life. He is in the street now. He is no more a prince physically. Physically, he is no more prince, but inwardly, at heart, he is a prince. People do not recognize him as a prince. Why? I told you, the prince is a prince because of his princely uniform or costume. Because of his princely costume. People respect and honor and salute that uniform. You understand? Now you are school children because of your uniform. People respect you because you are in your uniform. When you do not have your school uniform, ordinary people will not have that respect for you. You become an ordinary person. But when you are in your uniform, you become a special person. That is the importance of wearing a uniform. Now, unfortunately, the prince does not understand this. Now he is in the street. The people begin to harass him, hurt him, joke at him, laugh at him. When the prince behaves like a royal character, speak in royal language, giving commands, people begin to say, the prince is a mad boy. He's a mad boy. Therefore, they begin to bully or harass or harm or humiliate the prince and to enjoy themselves. Now, prince is in a great trouble. No people respect him, salute him. No people listen to his commands. Instead, they begin to hurt the prince. Hurt the prince. The prince realizes, the prince begins to feel the miseries of beggar's life. Now he has no escape from this. He must go back to the palace and take his costume back, but he cannot now enter into the palace. He does not even know the way for the palace. Now he is in London city, away from the palace. because people chase him into the city. Chase him into the city. The prince has no knowledge about the locations, people, places outside the palace gate. He's completely ignorant about it. The prince is helpless now. He has no support. Nobody listens to obey his royal commands. He is completely a lost person in the big city. In the big city. Aimlessly. You see, aimlessly he moved on, walked on, aimlessly, without any target. Hmm. Now, the prince is beggar. He is no more prince. Now he enjoys this suffering. He has no hope now, no help now. Hmm. You see the first line of this chapter, first sentence. After hours of persistent pursuit and persecution, persistent means continuous. Pursuit means chasing. Now people follow the prince out of the palace gate with some persecution, some harassments, bad treatments, persecution means. The little prince was at last deserted, given up by the rebel. Rebel means ordinary people, unpleasant people, and left to himself. Now, this is how he suffers. People begin to harass him, hurt him. As long as he had been able to rage means to express anger. Whenever he expresses his anger against the mob, against the people, and threaten it royally, when he begins to threaten the people in royal way, uttering royal commands, it were good stuff, good things to laugh at. People begin to laugh because he was very entertaining, very amusing, funny. Entertaining means. Now people enjoy themselves by harassing the prince, humiliating the prince, because for them, the prince is a mad beggar boy, because he speaks like a royal character. Actually, the prince is not really mad. He is not really mad. He speaks the truth, but no one believes it, this truth, because of his clothing. People do not believe him. Now, in this way, the prince suffers too much. Suffers too much. Finally, to get rid of the people's harassment, job, he comes to a church. Go to page 19. Page 19. Greyfriars Church, which the king my father has taken from monks, underline, and given for a home forever for poor and forsaken children. and new named it Christ Church. Remember this situation. Now, finally, the prince comes to Christ's church to get rid of people's harassments, bad treatments. The prince thinks that the church people will believe him and the church people will support him. In this church, there are children. This is really an orphanage, a home for children, a home for parentless children, orphanage, children's home. Now he goes there, expecting some help, but he does not receive any help. The children also begin to harass him. The children also begin to harass him, entertained by laughing, joking, humiliating the prince. He is in very, very miserable, helpless situation. Finally, the prince escapes from this place too, because children begin to harass him physically. Therefore, he runs away. He runs away. Now you can see this dialogue between the prince and these children, right? Page 19, last part. The boys stopped their play and flocked about the prince, who said with a native dignity, "Good lads." Now native. Now the prince speaks with his native dignity, his natural respect, out of his self-respect. The prince says, "Good lads, good boys, say to your master, tell your master, your teacher, that Edward, Prince of Wales, desires," likes, desire means likes, speech, likes a speech with him. Hey boys, go and tell your teacher, your master, that Prince Edward, Prince of Wales, is here and wants to speak to him. A great shout went up at this, and one rude fellow said, one rude boy said, because the prince behaves like a prince, but he does not look like a prince. Now one boy begins to joke, "Mary, art thou his grace's messenger? Are you the prince's messenger? You beggar? You are a beggar boy. Are you the messenger of the prince?" But he is the real prince. The boy do not recognize him as a prince because he does not look like a prince. The prince's face flushed with anger, became red with anger, and his ready hand, that part may not be in your book, right? ඒ ටික නෑ ඔයාලගේ පොතේ මං හිතන්නේ. ඒක ඔරිජිනල් බුක් එකේ මෙතන තියෙන්නේ. This Sally, this joke brought more laughter. Poor Edward drew himself up proudly and said, "I am the prince. I am not a beggar. I am a prince. It ill be seen. It seems bad Il means bad. Beseemeth means seems or appears. It appears bad because you feed upon, eat. Feed means eat. My father's bounty. You eat because of my father's kindness. Bounty means kindness. It means King Henry. You are living because of my father's kindness. So therefore it is bad to use me so. It is bad to speak me like that, treat me like that. I am prince, right? However, the situation turns no good for the prince. The boy begin to enjoy themselves. This was vastly enjoyed. And the laughter testified, right? Now, finally, the prince hits one of the boy angrily. One of the boy angrily, right, with his foot, with his foot. Now you see, take thou that till tomorrow comes. Until tomorrow, take this. And I build thee a gibbet. Gibbet means hanging, death sentence. I will give you death sentence, right? Now there begins a clash between the prince and the children. Finally, these children come upon the prince. Prince has no option, but he runs away, but to runs away, right? Now we come to this situation. Go to page 21. Now, what is the situation? The situation takes place. The situation takes place after the princess escaped from the children of Christ Hospital. Situation. Write down the situation. The situation takes place after the princess escaped from the children of the Christ Hospital. Right. Now, this is the exam question you received from this chapter. Okay. Therefore, we do not need to go into much detail. You know what finally happens? John Canty, Tom's father, meets the prince in the city. Right? Go to page 22. I roughly do this. Right? 22. Sorry, 21 last part. 21 last part. Last sentence. Suddenly, a great drunken ruffian collared him, caught him by the collar. A drunken ruffian. Ruffian means unruly person. Who is this ruffian? John Canty. John Canty caught the prince. Collared means. Then he says, out to this time of night again. Now John Canty thinks the prince is Tom because of his appearance, has lost brought farthing home. You have not bought a farthing. Farthing means some money home. I warrant. Yes. Farthing home. I warrant me, I think. I think. You have no money today, John Canty says. Now, Prince, oh, art his father truly? His. His means Tom's. Oh, you are Tom's father. Oh, sweet heaven, grant it. Oh, God, be it may be so. Then wilt thou fetch him? You can have back, take back. Fetch means you can take back him. Him means Prince, Tom, and away and restore me, give me back to my people. Then John Canty says, his father, I know not what thou means. I do not know what you say, but I know I am thy father. I am your father. Now, what is the situation? The situation takes place when the prince and John Canty meet in the city of London for the first time. The situation takes place when the prince and John Canty meet in the city of London for the first time, right? Now John Canty takes the prince home. He thinks the prince is Tom Canty, gone stark mad. Real mad. Stark means now you have gone real mad, like Tom of Bedlam. Bedlam means mental hospital. Like Tom from mental hospital. John Canty thinks Tom has gone mad, right? And he takes him home, right? That is the summary of this story. Okay, let's write down, comment, write down the topic, chapter 4, the prince's troubles begin. The prince's troubles begin. Go on, write in. The chapter 4 depicts how the prince experiences how the prince experiences how the prince experiences a beggar's life in a realistic situation. In a realistic situation. Now the prince is in the street. Now the prince is in the street in Tom's clothing. In Tom's clothing. Full stop. At heart, he is a prince. At heart, he is a prince. But he appears like A beggar boy. Beggar boy. The prince is badly treated. The prince is badly treated by the ordinary people. The prince is badly treated by the ordinary people. When he begins to act like a prince in beggar's clothing, the prince begins to realize that he has lost his princely identity. He has lost his princely identity along with his princely uniform. Princely uniform. Princely uniform. Next sentence. To get rid of people's harassment. To get rid of people's harassment. HARASSMENT. People's harassment. The prince stops speaking like a prince. Speaking like a prince. Full stop. And to find some support. He visits a church. He visits a church, but he is not welcome. He is not welcome by the children of the church, by the children of the church. They too begin to enjoy they too begin to enjoy by harassing the little prince, by harassing by harassing the little prince. He escapes from the Christ church. He escapes from the Christ church. But he does not have any anger or hatred, against the children of Christ church. He also makes a self-promise. He also makes a self-promise to support all innocent, helpless children, all innocent, helpless children by giving them a good education, food and home, when he becomes King of England, when he becomes King of England. When he becomes King of England. The chapter comes to end when John Canty meets when John Canty meets the prince and takes him to awful court, mistaking him to be Tom Canty. Mistaking him to be Tom Canty. Mistaking him to be Tom Canty. Right. That is the end of, that's enough for that chapter, because no question will come out of this chapter for your O-level examination. Okay, take your context book and take this as a question. Put the next question number, page number, as I told you before. Right? Question 1. What is this situation? What is the situation? Whose thoughts are these? Question number 2. What is the speaker's promise? To they. Number 3, explain the words and phrases. A, bread and shelter. B, diligently. Question number 4. How do you describe the speaker's character? How do you describe the speaker's character? Okay. Now this is the context for 2017 O-level paper. But these questions may be different. They may not be the real questions. You have to find the paper and see the questions. Right. Similar questions like this. Okay. Now you know the situation. What is the situation? Yes. Can anyone send me the answer for the first question? Now, first question has two parts. What is the situation? Whose thoughts are these? Right? Yes. Can someone send me the answer for this? Yes. Question number 1. I gave you the situation. One answer came. Let's see. Okay, Chamodya, correct. Other people? Other students, please send me. Yes. Chamodya, whose thoughts? You have to answer that part also. Yes. Yes, correct. Chamodya. What is the situation? The situation takes place after the princess escaped from the Christ hospital or church. Yes, that is the situation. The situation takes place after the princess escaped from the Christ's church or hospital. Whose thoughts are these? Princess thoughts or Edward's thoughts? Princess thoughts. You have to answer that way. Princess thoughts or Edward's thoughts. Then only you are given 2 marks. What is the speaker's promise to they? When I am king, when I become king, they shall not have, they will not only have bread and shelter. Bread and shelter means food and home. What is the idea? Food and home. Now, prince promise, the princess promise is to give food and home to the children and also teachings. Teaching means education. Teachings out of the books means education. What is the princess promise? The prince promises to himself to give the children food and home and good education. Food and home and good education. When he becomes king, when he becomes the king, when he becomes the king. Teachings out of books. Because for a full belly, full stomach, belly means stomach. Full stomach is not enough. Little worth, not important, not valuable. Little worth means not valuable. Where the mind is starved, when the mind is hungry and empty, mind and heart is hungry and empty. I will keep this diligently, thoroughly. Diligently means thoroughly. Throughly. I will keep this thoroughly in my remembrance. Remembrance means memory. I will remember this thoroughly. This day's lesson, today's lesson, not lost upon me, forgotten. And my people suffer thereby. Now, you can see the prince's future leadership. Future leadership. How he is going to be a good leader. Because learning means education, softened. Softened means soft, make soft, heart, and breedeth, create gentleness and charity. Charity means support, help, benevolence. Gentle means kindness. Right. The prince thinks that only education can make a gentle, supportive, kind person. Education can develop qualities of human qualities of the heart. How do you describe the speaker's character? I told you, future leadership. Write down. The speaker's or the prince's words, imply, the prince's words imply the prince's words imply the prince's words imply his future leadership qualities. He is going to be a good king. He is going to be a good king. Giving support. He is going to be a good king giving support to the homeless children of his country. Right. Now, that type of answer is quite enough. Okay. We'll stop today's class. We stop today's class. And next week, we are going to discuss chapter 5. And also, I hope to do some poems. 1 hour for the novel and 1 hour for the poem. Be ready for both of them. Okay. We'll stop today's class and we'll meet again next